This week, the Tennessee Titans cut free agent edge rusher Vic Beasley after just half a season with the team. Also, this after they paid him a one-year, $9.5 million fully guaranteed deal after coming over from the Falcons. Now, this is the latest Titans. Hey, we lost 2 games in a row, so we're just going to toss guys under the bus. They also cut cornerback Jonathan Joseph as well as a long snapper for some reason because, hey, blowing leads, yeah. Long snapper. But the Vikings do have a very young, interesting crew at defensive end with Danielle Hunter up on blocks. They got a Fadio Denebo leading the way. DJ Wanham stepping on up. Jalen Holmes find himself a role as well as Hercules Mataafa, a brand new edge rusher secret weapon. But I mean, Vic Beasley is a freak and also is only a few years removed from leading the NFL in sacks with 15.5 as well as being a first-team All-Pro in 2016. But unfortunately, Falcons blew a 28-3 lead that year. Yeah, but Vic Beasley I was obviously going to pass through waivers because no one wanted the smoke of that moronic leftover of the $9.5 million deal that the Titans gave him. So now he's a free agent, and I think the Vikings should pursue him. We'll get into why today. So background, Vic Beasley, 28 years young, 6'3", 246, former 3-star recruit from Adairsville, Georgia. Nailed it. It's about halfway between Atlanta and Chattanooga. He was a class of 2010. Now, he originally climbed to Clemson as a tight end, but then switched to edge rusher, defensive end, linebacker. Eventually worked his way into rotation, his third year there after taking a redshirt in 2010. 2012, redshirt sophomore, registered 8 sacks in a rotational role. Breakout year was 2013. On that 11-2 Clemson team. 22.5 tackles for loss, 13 sacks. Also recorded a sack versus the Ohio State University in Clemson's 40-35 win at the Orange Bowl. Also, pretty nice names of that defense. I mean, Mac Alexander, J-Ron, as well as Grady Jarrett were on that team prominently as well. Came back. Kind of surprising that he came back for his 2014 season, but still notched up 17.5 tackles for loss, 9 more sacks. Ended up being a 2-time consensus All-American, 2013 and 14, 2-time first-team All-ACC, as well as 2014 ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Combine. So this is where it gets thick with Vic Beasley. So the Combine was absolutely bap-bleep insane. It was. So he's in the 90th plus percentile in almost all the key metrics, except for, height, weight, whatever. 4.53 40, 41-inch vert. He nearly broad jumped 11 feet, which is just insane. And agility drills, he just killed it as well. It's one of the more insane spider charts. It is an all-timer. And also, imagine if he had stuck at tight end. I mean, just a physical freak he is. Ended up going 8 overall to the Falcons. Was the second true edge rusher off the board after Dante Fowler went to the Jaguars. Best, as well as Leonard Williams. It was more defensive interior, but yeah, whatever. But now, the Vikings were in on Vic Beasley during the 2015 draft. We talked to people who would be sourced in on that. And the Vikings, if Beasley had made it to 11, they were fully all in. And also, could you imagine? So, this was a year removed from taking Anthony Barr at 9, turning him into a strong side linebacker. And then also you had Everson at the height of his powers, and also you had Brian Robinson. So adding Vic Beasley to that stew. Whew. But also, they ended up with Trey Waynes at 11. But overall, I think it ended up for the best because if they had taken Beasley at 11, they probably wouldn't have taken a certain edge rusher in the 3rd round named Danielle Hunter. So, had sort of a meh rookie year in 2015, but also second year, 2016, was the boom season. Led the NFL with 15.5 sacks, also 6 forced fumbles, leading the league, and also had 65 total pressures. So, yeah, he banged it that year. Falcons went to the Super Bowl. Yes, they blew a 28-3 lead. Beasley was pretty much handled by the Patriots that game. Dante Scarnecchia and company doing work. He only had 2 pressures but that game and 0 tackles. He almost goal-stunned it. But he was named to the Pro Bowl as well as first-team All-Pro. And the next years were sort of back-to-back 5-sack seasons, fine. Picked up his 5th-year option in 2019, and then he put up 8 sacks, but still, though, just sort of whatever. And it was eye-opening that the Falcons didn't really make any big moves to try and keep him. And also, they had failed first-round pick Tack McKinley on the roster as well, so they were hurting on the edge, but they're just like, There have been rumors that Beasley had not put in the work, and then head coach Dan Quinn, obviously a player's coach, defensive guy, covering for him, covering for Tack. I mean, talent will get you second and third chances, but just wasn't going to work out. Falcons let him walk. Titans signed him to a 1-year, $9.5 million deal with $6 million signing bonus. Again, fully guaranteed. Okay. This is the deal that they signed him to before they brought in Clowney, by the way. So it's okay. But then he didn't show up. And I don't mean like metaphorically. I mean like literally and physically. He was MIA, no call, no show for the first 9 days of training camp. Eventually showed up. Now, there have been reports that he was a bit out of shape, not really dialed in when he finally did get to Titans camp. Then the Titans, he didn't play the first 2 games. Eventually, they cut him after 5 games. He had 3 tackles, 0 sacks, playing 125 total snaps. It did have 2 pressures against the Vikings week 3. So in the, hey, that guy played well against you scouting department, meh. And like we said, Beasley cleared waivers because no one wanted to pay the rest of that contract. But Vikings should kick the tires for a couple reasons. Number one, super high upside. I mean, this guy was an all-pro, first-team all-pro 4 years ago and had 15.5 sacks. And to put that into perspective, Daniil's career high is 14.5. He notched that in both 2018 and 2019. Everson's is 13. So, yeah, he can bring the stank. Number two, he's going to be cheap. So, league minimum for a 6-year vested veteran is $910,000. Prorated over 8 games since he's not going to play against Detroit. That's $455K. That's reasonable. Also, you can even make it non-guaranteed. Well, it is non-guaranteed since he's not on the roster after week 1. Number 3, I think the locker room can handle him. Like, it would be something different if he, say, went to the Jets or whatever, and then he would be allowed to be what he's been. But with Kendricks, Harrison, Stephen, Afadi, Daniil, when he makes cameos, as well as Andre Patterson, I mean, if he's ever going to succeed, it will be here, and he will be held accountable because those guys will not put up with his ish at all. No. And I know, why can't you just sign high character, talented players who want to play for cheap? Well, good luck with that. Good luck unicorn hunting, man, because players that have Beasley's talent are available mid-season for a reason, right? And there's going to be warts on those apples, but it doesn't mean that you still can't make a pie out of it, right? But I think if Beasley actually does want a, well, I guess third or fourth chance, whatever it is at this point, it would be the perfect spot for him because with Patterson, the leadership on defense, and also he would have opportunity for snaps because even though we do like Wanham and obviously we love Afadi and Holmes and Mataafa, I mean, literally just come in and speed rush on third down. Like, fill in that Yannick the Freak Ngakoue role that the Vikings just gave away to the Ravens for whatever. It's an extremely small price, and you know what? If he hasn't changed his ways and if he's becoming a problem, just cut him. I mean, you're literally out like $5 in the grand scheme of things, but you do have a chance to revive a prospect you were very much in on in the draft in 2015. Vikings have done this before, i.e. Josh Doxson and Andre Smith and Josh Freeman. Maybe those are piss poor examples. They are, but maybe it'll work out this time. But either way, it's a low risk, high reward spot. Maybe you do resurrect a guy's career. Maybe you do rekindle that fire. Maybe you do remind him why he started playing football for a reason. And then also you get a guy who could be one of the upper echelon edge rusher, pass rush specialists in this league for like $5. Do it. But your thoughts, Vikings should be in on Vic Beasley. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work, post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.